guys, so in today's video, we are talking makeup hacks that actually work. These little tips and tricks just make it so much easier to do your makeup, so much faster, and give you overall a much more flawless finish and longer lasting result. Some of these hacks I did learn during my years as a professional makeup artist, and some of these I have learned recently, but they are absolute gold. I promise you they will make a huge difference. So if you are interested in learning about makeup hacks that actually work, then please keep on watching. Okay, so the first hack that I want to talk to you guys about is double priming. Now, I don't mean applying a layer of primer over your entire face and then waiting and then applying another. I mean double priming based on what you need for your skin type and your skin needs. So if you've been here on my channel for a while and you're familiar with my skin type, you're probably aware that I have got quite enlarged pores, like sort of through the center of my face, my cheeks, and through the T-zone. But the pores around the perimeter of my face are generally okay. Now, normally really sort of intense pore filling primers, they're just too slippery and slidey, and I feel like they cause my makeup to just slide off during the day. So what I actually like to do is use a primer that will grip the makeup over my entire face and then just concentrate the pore filling primer exactly where I need it. So just taking the Fenty Pro Filter Soft Matte Primer. I quite like this one for like overall sort of all skin types. It's a really good universal one, and it definitely helps extend the wear of makeup. So I'm just going to be pressing that one in over my entire face. This is going to help extend the longevity of my makeup and help it last longer, but it doesn't really do too much in terms of hiding my pores, concealing the pores and shrinking them. So what I'm going to do now is take the e.l.f. Poreless Primer, and this is a primer that is specifically for shrinking pores and for minimizing pores. It's quite a slippery, like silicone heavy kind of a formula, and I'm only going to be putting that through the areas of my skin where I actually need it and just pressing it into the skin. And this is going to shrink the pores exactly where I need it, but it's not going to now, impact on how long my makeup lasts because I don't have it applied everywhere all over my face. All right, so this next hack is for those of you that struggle with makeup creasing in your smile lines and also underneath your eyes. If this is a problem that you have experienced, try this hack. So what you want to do is actually take an eyeshadow primer and you want to apply that in the areas where you have the issues. So for me, I get a little bit of creasing underneath my eyes. I'm just going to put the primer under there. And I definitely get creasing in my smile lines with certain foundations. So I've applied that onto the skin, and then you just want to blend that in with a finger. Just tap it in. And putting that eyeshadow primer there is going to stop products from settling and creasing in those areas. It works pretty much exactly the same way that it does on your eyelids. Just really stops products from creasing. All right, the next hack that I want to show you is to do with foundation. Do you have a foundation that you don't particularly like the formulation of? Is it too runny? Do you not really like the coverage? Do you find that it doesn't really last long enough? It's just overall not working for you? Try mixing your foundation with a translucent powder before you apply it. I know it sounds totally crazy, but trust me, this works so well. So I'm going to take our Gerard Cosmetics Velvet Finishing Powder, and what I'm going to do is pop a little of this on the back of my hand. Doesn't need to be a huge amount, so that there will do. And then I want you to take your liquid foundation. This is the Maybelline Activewear Foundation. And basically just add the foundation on top of the powder and then mix them together. So now that they're all mixed, we want to start applying it to the skin. You will notice that by doing this, your foundation will be full of coverage. It'll be more matte, it'll be longer lasting on the skin, and it'll be easier and quicker to blend out. So taking one of our Pro Perfecting sponges, I'm going to pick it up off the back of my hand and blend it into my skin. Oh, look how incredible that looks. It really does work so well. Like, just try it once and you'll see what I mean. All right, moving on to a concealer hack, and this is another one that honestly just works so incredibly well. Do you have a concealer that, let's say for example, is not enough coverage? You find it really difficult to blend, you find that it's patchy when you blend it out, and it's just not really giving you that perfect smooth under eye look? Well, try this hack and I promise you'll be like, damn, you pretty much can make any concealer work. So this is the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply this underneath my eyes, and I also like to put a little bit of this on the center of my nose just for some extra coverage, and then I'm going to wait for it to dry for a few minutes. Now, I know that that sounds bizarre, but trust me, as the concealer sits on your skin, as it warms up, and as it sort of sets down a little bit, it turns it into a much easier texture to work with. It increases the coverage somehow, and it just makes the overall result, once blended, way smoother and way more flawless. You don't need to like let it sit on the skin for like 5 minutes or anything. Usually about 1 to 2 minutes is more than enough. You can even fan it to speed it up, but just let it dry down a little. Let it get a little bit tacky and really thicken up on the skin. And then once it is set on the skin, once it's had time to thicken, I'm going to go back in with our Pro Perfecting sponge and I'm going to blend it out for a perfectly flawless finish. Okay, so next up we're moving on to setting the foundation now, and this is a hack that I have been talking about here on my channel for pretty much as long as I can remember, but stop setting your foundation with a brush. Use your foundation sponge. I promise you it's going to give you a much more flawless and much smoother result, and actually pushing the powder into the skin is going to help your makeup last a lot longer. Now to do this, I'm again going to be taking our Nikkia Cosmetics Velvet Finishing Powder. So picking up the powder on the sponge just like that. If you're a little bit concerned, I just tap it off a little bit and then I just want you to press it into the skin. It's honestly this simple. This is going to lock your makeup in place for literally all day. Like, you will not have to touch up. All right, so the next hack has got to do with setting spray. Now, normally you would just take your favorite setting spray. This is the Gerard Cosmetics X Nikkia Joy Rose Setting Spray. Still my absolute holy grail if you've got oily skin or if you've got like a skin type where, your foundation just doesn't last that long. You don't have to get my particular scent. This does come in many, many, many different scents. It's incredible, and I do have discount codes for it if you are interested in trying it. Joy will get you 30% off, or Joy BOGO will get you 2 full sizes of these. But normally what you're probably used to doing is actually spraying your makeup with your setting spray and, carrying on with your day. But try this if you want to get an even longer lasting finish. Honestly, super simple, and it is something that I've also spoken about and shown here on my channel many times before. But I want you to actually spray your makeup sponge with the setting spray. Use enough to sort of saturate it fairly well. And then what you want to do is actually push that into the skin over the top of your powder. It's going to really lock the foundation in place. It's going to really smooth things out, and it will also help the skin look even more natural, like you're not even wearing any makeup. It's an incredible hack. Okay, so this next hack is for those of you who want to contour your nose, but you are having a really hard time doing it. I understand it. Trust me. It's tricky to know, exactly where to place the lines. Do they need to be closer together? Do they need to be further apart? And then you've got the tip of the nose. There are different contouring methods to get that right. Trust me, I understand that it can be overwhelming and quite confusing, but I promise you this hack is about to make it so much easier for you. So I want you to take your normal bronzer, take a little of it on a brush, a fluffy brush, a contouring brush. This is an angled contouring brush. And this is just the same bronzer that you normally use on your cheeks and around your forehead. And basically what I want you to do is to bronze your entire nose. Now I know that this feels bizarre and you're like, whoa, why would I want to do that? But trust me, you're about to have your mind blown. So really get that on there, really bronze it up like your entire nose, including the sides of the nose and the tip of the nose. But then what I want you to do is to go back in with your concealer, and I want you to wipe off the majority of product off the tip of the brush. If it's not a doe foot applicator and you're using a, like an eyeshadow brush or something, that's totally different. But if you've got a doe foot applicator, you want to get most of the excess off this. And then I want you to draw a very thin line down the center of your nose, just like that. And then I want you to pop a tiny little dot right at the end of your nose. And then you can either use a sponge or you can use a finger, but just gently blend that in, trying not to spread the product out too much. And then take a tiny little bit of highlighter on your finger and just very gently tap that over the top of where you've placed that concealer. Absolute easiest and quickest way to contour your nose ever. Okay, next up is how to make your eyes look bigger in literally 2 seconds. And all you need to do is take a fluffy eyeshadow brush and the same bronzer that we've used all over our face, including to contour our nose, dab the brush into the bronzer. And then what I want you to do is to actually continue that nose contour through the curve of the inner corner of your eye. Just extend it through there and then sort of have it just fade into probably the last third of the crease there. So just continue that nose contour and drag it across your eye. See what I'm doing there with that shape? And what this is actually going to do is it's actually going to simulate a shadow here. and it will draw attention away from the inner corner of your eye, making your eyes look bigger, brighter, and more awake. You can also take this bronzer and sort of extend it out past the corner of your eye into like a bit of a tail, and that will help to elongate the eyes and open the eyes even further. And then last but not least, a mascara hack that is going to make a huge difference if, again, you've got a mascara that's just not working for you. Formulation is too wet, or you find that when you're applying it, it's just not giving you any volume or any length. Take that mascara and pull the wand out. I would recommend, if it's a particularly wet formula, just scrape off a lot of the excess. And then what I want you to do, and again, this is going to just seem so bizarre, but I want you to actually dip this in translucent powder. Translucent powder is honestly the miracle product of makeup routines. It seriously can do so much. And I'm just going to dip that wand straight into that powder. You'll pretty much get no mascara transferring into the powder. But see how that's now coated with powder? Put it back into your mascara tube. And then holding on to the end, you kind of want to mix that around in there. Get it all nice and super blended. And then once it's all blended, your mascara will now be a much drier, much easier formula to work with, and it will also give your lashes so much more volume and length. So that's it for the video today, guys. Makeup hacks that actually legitimately work and that will actually make a difference to your makeup routine. I am obsessed with all of these. They absolutely do work, and I think that they're going to make a big difference for you. So please give the video a thumbs up if you did enjoy it. Leave me any questions below if you've got, anything that you want to ask about any of these hacks, and I hope that you guys enjoyed the video. I will catch you all in the next one. Bye!